we're off and running on the Krueger Show. Hope everybody's having a great day. Welcome to the Krueger Show. Look who's in the house. But first, we're brought to you by Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Paulie knows because I took him out there just a couple days ago. We Pig and a Pickle. The barbecue is amazing. They're in Corte Madera. They're in Emeryville. They're open 7 days a week from 11 a.m. till 8 p.m. Go check them out. And also this stream brought to you tonight by Better. This live stream sponsored by Better, the official daily fantasy sponsor of the Krueger Show. Use Better to make daily fantasy lineups, and you can win real money. That's right. During the preseason, Niners Raiders, I took a 4-player prop, turned $10 into $90. Feeling good about it. So download the app below. Make sure you use the promo code Niners, NINERS, to get the first deposit matched up to $200. Well, who is in the house? My good friend. Man, we go way, way, way back. A lot of years. To the point where I'm not even sure if I could count. But we've both been, at the sports leader at different points. And this guy had one of the longest, most successful running morning shows this market has ever seen. Murph and Mac really dominated the airwaves all throughout really the last 15 years. And there were many, many Giants postseason games where you were excited about it at nighttime and super excited to flip on 680 in the morning to hear this guy, Paulie Mac and Brian Murphy talk about it and celebrate it and sometimes come up with some incredible parody songs and great friend and a great radio guy. And now on the verge of becoming your next great YouTube guy, the great Paulie Mac. Paulie, good to see you, man.
Hey, Kruegs, great seeing you too, man. And thank you for the kind introduction and the nice words. I got to tell you, before we even start, it was great seeing you last week because last week, Larry Krueger, myself, and the legendary creative Tony, we all went out and met at Pig and a Pickle, had a great lunch, had a great sit down. And I was telling Larry, I'm going to continue this thread right now with your audience that
sure.
I want to congratulate you and the great work that you've done post KNBR. I mean, I know you're back doing stuff with them now, but what you have built, what you have created, not only, aesthetically from the look you've created, just like looking at you right now in the studio you have set up, and yeah, my compliments. It looks great. And as you kind of hinted at, I am working on launching something, Larry. I am going to be joining you in the YouTube community, and I'm going to be picking your brain big time as I get closer to that. And it will include some voices you are familiar with. I have to take care of honoring some contractual obligations, which I'm almost to the completion of. And when I hit that finish line, we're going to launch a new show. It will be available on YouTube. I'm really looking forward to it. We have a lot of good ideas, and we're just, it's funny, Larry, and you know what this is like when you are kind of taken away from your audience or removed from your audience for whatever the reason, whatever. There's a process where you I miss them. I miss talking to them. And I do some of that on Twitter now. Like I am connected with some of the listeners on Twitter. And you can always hit me up if you want to at Paulie's Pod. I'm always around. I'm always available for a back and forth. But I look forward, Larry, to getting back on the mic like you're doing. And again, my compliments, dude. You've built a great show. So my imaginary hat is off to you, brother.
Well, dude, seriously. And I'm thrilled to have you here. And let's just take a perusal of our good friends in the chat because there's so many of them are excited to see you. Joseph Sullivan says, so excited for Paulie Mac. Let's go.
Cheers.
We got this one from Sparks Northern. He says, Paulie Mac, Larry doing it right on his return to the leader. That's right. MF says, Paulie Mac has a good vibe with Tim Ryan when they did interviews.
Oh, dude, let me just tell you, man, Tim Ryan is one of the guys I miss the most.
Yeah.
I always enjoyed him, Larry, he's such an alpha male, just whether you're talking to him on the phone or whether you're face to face with him down in Santa Clara. I know the last time I saw him, actually, he came up from behind me, Larry, and he goes, oh yeah, here's Paulie Mac. Dude, bear hugs me off the ground, lifted me off my feet. I'm like a little sissy boy compared to Tim Ryan being the alpha male that he is, but I love talking football with him. He is all heart. He's got a very high football IQ. So thank you for the kind words and that's the kind of thing, you know what, Larry, when I get the show on YouTube, we'll bring Tim Ryan on. We'll continue those relationships. And I know you do a lot of that too. That's got to be
absolutely.
That's make you feel good. Yeah.
It's awesome. T-Rock in the house. I'm a man's man. I love T-Rock and I love, seriously, A hug from Tim Ryan is probably the closest I'd ever gotten to pro football.
Well, not only that, Larry, a hug from pro football is a hug from Tim Ryan, closest both of us ever got to pro football, and closest I got to almost having to go to an emergency room for broken ribs on just a regular old-fashioned run-of-the-mill hug. But Tim Ryan is the man, and Kruegs, man, it's like, I don't know where you're at right now with this Niner team. It's been this whole Shanahan. First of all, there's so much to talk about, dude. I'm so glad we're doing this because it's been an eventful offseason, right, to say the least. Everything with Ayuk and now Big Trent, he's finally signed, and that's great. But, dude, I almost feel like I want to start with just some well wishes for Ricky Pearsall. What an unusual story. What an unfortunate story. And you being around the team and talking to your audience, like, what is the overall kind of vibe? And I'm glad he's healthy and I'm glad he's okay. But, man, that's really kind of puts things back in perspective, I mean, that's. Yeah.
I mean, it's real life. It's, real life bleeding into, the toy department, which we're all operating in here.
Yeah.
And there were some of us, myself included, that were questioning if this kid was tough enough. And now, I think he demonstrated unique toughness. Of course, there's a difference between, this kind of toughness and football durability, but we'll see. And John Lynch thinks he's going to be a great player. A lot of people think that's GM speak. And what do you expect him to say? But John Lynch didn't need to say it twice. And he said it twice. And he was like, this guy's really going to be a fantastic player. So they really love what they see with Ricky. It's scary, man. It is scary. It is absolutely scary. I'm going to show you something. Well, actually, before I do that, let me share the screen here. This is one of the things I'll show you some of the ways you can operate through StreamYard.
I love this.
So I'm right now. I'm on another thing, and I'm looking at my Twitter, and I'm going to call up a tweet that I had that a question that I had to Big Trent because I was down there yesterday, and so I have the Q&A here, and I'm going to play this for you because to me this is really, really powerful.
Okay.
And I'll here it is. So this is what I'll do. I'll share the screen, and you guys can all check this out off of my Twitter. Here you go. And this is the big man right here.
Pretty scary.
Yeah. And I asked him about Pearsall. This is one of the great answers I think you're ever going to get from a football player. Listen to this. I asked him about Pearsall. Listen to his perspective on Pearsall, Paulie.
Right. On this team and obviously the thing with Ricky Saturday was pretty scary.
Yeah.
There's a lot of young heads in that room that look up to you. What would you say to them about handling themselves in big cities as a target, as a pro athlete?
Yeah, I think that's like you said. But just touching on that, I honestly, that to be real, I felt more compelled to come back after that than anything because, I've never experienced that like in my playing career to have a teammate, shot, so to speak. So in my mind, I'm like, man, I just want to get around the team. Like Ricky stood out to me because when I popped in for OTAs for the 30 minutes I was here, he did like go out of his way to come and introduce himself to me, in which we was going to meet each other eventually. But, I'm getting there. It's 90 guys on the team. I'm just walking out. I don't really know everybody just yet. So for him to come up and kind of introduce, and I just instantly felt his vibe and, can just feel he's such a genuine person. So as soon as I seen that happen, I'm like, man, I just want to get back. I just want to be, a voice in his ear, let him know everything going to be all right. I'll be there for the team. A lot of people probably hurt and confused about what happened and thinking that am I next, So I wanted to be around for that. But, my message is just to realize you're a target. And this world is a hard place. It's a very, very, very harsh place. And I think sometimes we are shielded from reality. And for better or worse, whatever the reason is, we can be. So just staying in the moment and realizing that, your life is more important than anything that you can wake up and put on. So just always keep that eye out, man, and just know that there's people out here that don't really value human life. You just got to be aware of that.
Yeah. So there you go.
Wow.
I thought that was powerful.
Well, it was, and it was the right kind of question too. I mean, when you look at it or think about it in those terms, they really are targets. They do. They have a big bullseye on their back. It's funny, Krueger, when he was talking, right now, when Trent was talking about that and saying he was more inclined to come back sooner after a tragedy like this, even though it was narrowly averted, it could have been more tragic. That it reminded me almost of. Do you remember that Maurice Spates incident when he was with the Warriors, where
where he was chased through the city or something?
Well, yeah, I think somebody snatched the chain off his neck and he ran the guy down and apprehended him or something. I mean, not everybody is a jump shooting crime stopper like Mo Spates, but
he's also 6'10". I mean, he's a huge guy.
That was my boy Spatesy.
He was great. I loved him, man. He was fun.
Side topic, Kruegs, the Warriors need a new Mo Spates, somebody to come off the bucket, off of the bench rather, get some of those mid-ranges going. But anyway, no, it's right. And I think that Trent speaks to something, and maybe you can tell me if you agree or disagree with this, but observing this group with Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch for the past few seasons, this group strikes me as having what I don't know what else to call it other than a real familial bond. They really do seem like they care about each other. They have fostered this kind of family vibe that they project. Everything from the way they come on the field, with the tune box, and the way you hear Trent speaking about such a young player like this and how it affected everybody. Do you agree with that, Krug, that this group is more tight-knit perhaps than some of the really good Harbaugh teams, for example, when you would hear there's dissension in the locker room. This one is at odds with that one. This one doesn't like that coach. I don't get a lot of that with this group, and I think that hopefully bodes well for them. I don't know. What's your take on that?
Well, I mean, Harbaugh himself was a lightning rod, right? So he, you
heard any of his interviews on our show. Dude, yeah. It was like watching a bus crash in slow motion, listening to Harbaugh on the Murph and Mac show. People used to tune in just to hear the car crash. It was crazy. But anyway, go ahead.
No, seriously. He's just, he's a very difficult interview if he doesn't want to be interviewed, or if he wants to be cagey, or if you're going to have to ask him, pressing issues around the team, and he's good at dodging. So, there's always that. I mean, I think there's better guys. I think the collective character of the room is quite a bit better now than on his team. But on the other hand, though, his team played a violent brand of football and they were very successful. So, I don't want to put, I've got great respect for Harbaugh at the same time, and respect for Shanahan. I don't know. I think it is a team that I think, Paulie, may wind up being a little galvanized through the Ricky Pearsall thing, because it's easy to look at him and be like, dude, that could have been me. Yeah. Or it's easy to look at him and be like, dude, he could have died. The guy had a bullet go through his chest and out his back, and it didn't hit his spine. It didn't hit his lungs. It didn't hit his vertebrae. It didn't hit his spinal cord. It didn't hit his heart. That's like, this guy's living right. He's, there's a higher power that wanted to make sure that Ricky Pearsall, stuck around for a while. So I think that's sobering. I think, on a funny sense, he's got more street cred with the guys, because of what he's been through. But I think also just the fact that it was a near tragic situation, and he's a young guy, probably, these kids, Paulie, I have kids. You have kids. How old is Tommy and your other son?
Oh my God! Now they're ready for this, Cruz. Hold on to your hat, because I know you've known them since they were little. My oldest son Tommy just turned 22, and my younger son James is 20. Yeah, dude,
Ricky Pearsall could be our kid.
It's crazy.
That could be our kid. I've got a 23-year-old. I got Kev, the guy who does so many great things for my channel. He's 20. He just graduated college. Right. He's basically the same age as Ricky Pearsall. So when especially, these are young people, and a guy like Trent I thought that was so incredible that Trent's like, this made me want to come back and kind of lead the room and be able to kind of impact some of these young guys, because he is a leader in the room. And I thought his line there was strong. But I think that any kind of adversity tends to bring people together. Yeah. Or tear them apart, one or the other, and I think this will bring them together to some degree.
Shout out! I'm dating myself a little bit on this one, Krug, but shout out that movie "Ordinary People" with Mary Tyler Moore and Timothy Hutton, because that's an example of a tragedy just tearing a family to shreds. They didn't come closer at all. Matter of fact, I'm still a little bitter that Mary Tyler Moore took out her frustration on Timothy Hutton. I'm here to tell you, Cruz, he didn't deserve it. But anyway, back to the topic at hand.
I mean, I'll go Mary Tyler Moore and throw my hat in the air if you want. You know, like the old Mary Tyler Moore show. Do you remember that? She used to throw her hat in the air.
Oh, come on,
in the 70s.
By the way, it's funny we're talking about Mary Tyler Moore. I can reveal these kind of stories now that I'm outside of the building. Not that long ago, Kruegs, not that long ago, Murph and I were doing a show, and Murph made a reference to Mary Tyler Moore, kind of like the one I just made, and we actually got in trouble for that because it was too dated of a reference. Nobody knows Mary Tyler Moore. So I'm happy that I finally have a home where I'm free to call Mary Tyler Moore at will, should the mood strike me. You know what I mean, Chris?
Yes. You want to go Mary Tyler Moore? You go fucking Mary Tyler Moore, damn it.
Yeah.
By the way, Murph made me laugh so hard. He's interviewing Tim Ryan today or yesterday.
Yeah.
And I'm driving down to Niners. I'm listening to T-Rock. And he starts asking him about, Tim's like a hunter, a fisherman. Tim starts talking about motorbiking, right?
Here we go.
and then he knew so much about it, and he's got such confidence. Murph, after like Tim's talked about motorbiking a couple times, goes, Do you ride professionally? Tim's like, do I ride professionally? It's like, of course not. I barely ride properly. It was hilarious. It was just
Tim Ryan. I love the new Tim Ryan too, because he's like a big heavy metal guy. So like every time he would come on our show, I want to hear some Motley Crue, man. Give me some Scorpions. He'd always be asking for like old school metal. But he is. What song Tim and I love. We both used to. I used to say to him, man, I love me some Dio, Last in Line. I love the riff, how it starts, and you think it's going to be, it's like a nice, soft little melodic thing, and then all of a sudden, Last in Line, it just, Well, by the way, since we brought up Brian Murphy, I'm just going to throw this out there to all the Brian Murphy enthusiasts in the audience. I don't want to give away any like inside trade secrets, but tomorrow happens to be.
He's not real. He's AI.
Well, we'll find out tomorrow because tomorrow is Brian Murphy's birthday. So definitely, check in and wish him a happy birthday. And just to let people know, Kruegs, just in case anybody is curious, because people have asked me, Murph and I are still in touch all the time. He texted me today, as a matter of fact. And for the first time in quite a while, this Saturday, Brian Murphy and Paulie Mac are going to appear on stage together because we
Sweetwater?
are close. It's up in Mill Valley. We're going up to Mount Tam. It's their annual Sound Summit concert. And we've been emceeing that for, this might be our 12th or 13th year, Larry. We've been doing it a long time. But anyway, we'll be up there Saturday together doing our thing. The riffs are going to fly. We're going to have a great time. So anyway.
If people want to go, how do they find out more information about Paulie? Or do you purchase tickets? Or because let me just be, as you're sitting here, let me just click on a few of these here. By the way, Ruin says, does Krug sleep? This man's on a tear. The season hasn't even started yet. No, I know. I rarely sleep. Daniel Cifuentes says, Paulie. Nick J. Paulie Mac, fucking legend.
Oh, there we go. My first F-bomb. Oh, that was
there you go.
Wow.
MF is in the house. He says, Paulie Mac is cool. There we go. Armando says, morning drive's not the same. We got this one from 49er Fool. Paulie Mac, the legend. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts on all this chat.
Nice. Well, thank you, boys.
Lots of Paulie, man. There's a lot of people here. Here we go. We got this one from Mark Graves. Love Paulie songs back in the day. My favorite was the Lincecum and the Steph songs.
Thank you, brother.
Do you have a favorite song of all your parody songs?
Wow, dude.
Because you've done how many? I mean, there's got to be 70, 80, right?
Only since you brought this up, I'm going to actually employ my first visual prop. Stand by.
Okay. Yeah. No, absolutely. Please do.
Right off the shelf, I'm going to reveal my Andrew Bogut bobblehead.
Okay.
And one of my favorite songs, one of my favorites that I did was the Andrew Bogut song. I did it to Boogie Nights from the 70s, like a disco song, but I changed it to Bogut Nights. Bogut Nights. Anyway,
yes.
I always
very
like
nice.
Nights. Yeah.
Tony Lamont says, holy shit, it's Paulie Mac.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can get a few. We got mornings aren't the same without Paulie. We won't read that one. Paulie, here we go. Nick J. Paulie's a fucking legend.
Thanks, bro.
Niner Faithful. Much respect to Paul McCaffrey, longtime listener from Montreal, Canada.
Damn, respect,
bro. Wow.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that you're going to dig, Paulie, about YouTube.
Yeah.
Is the audience is international.
Yeah.
You know, and you guys, and you know, the cool thing is you have been doing this gig, you know, radio and media and entertaining people for so long, bro, that there's a lot of people that used to live here that live in Texas and Florida. And when they get a chance to get a load of you on YouTube, it's really going to scratch an itch for a lot of those people. We got this one from J. Marie Perlman. I missed this guy. Paulie Mac, great to hear and see you. Been wondering when would hear you again. We got this one from Dre Arias. Paulie Mac is missed. Aaron saying 2 legends, which just basically means we got a lot of gray hair. And we got old kids
here, though. You know,
we got old kids. Damn it.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Oh wait, here we go. We got this one from Coach Scrapper. He says, "Wow, I've been wondering where Paulie went. Paulie always answered my text messages."
I tried to. I mean, you know, that's one thing I always tried to do in the studio. For the listeners that never knew, we had a monitor in the studio completely dedicated to text from the audience. That's all that was there for. We just feed the text one after another, like a conveyor belt. And I would always try to answer. Krug said it's just a good way to stay connected to people. And to your point, dude, I really look forward to reconnecting with our listeners wherever they might be. Like, do you find that the guy from Montreal who checked in? Do you have listeners? Like, where do you get
absolutely?
Hits from? Yeah.
You know what's really cool? I'll tell you what's really cool.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show you something. And guys, please, first of all, this is Paulie's first go round on YouTube. He's going to have his own channel. I want you guys all to follow him on Twitter. Right now, he's at Paulie's Pod. He's going to have his own channel at some point. And at that point, I want you guys all to follow Paulie's channel. He's going to do probably lots of Bay Area sports.
Oh yeah.
You know, so that absolutely one of the things that you can do here that is kind of cool is I am going to put the call link in the chat.
Nice.
So I'm going to put it in right now. So
All
I put it in right now. So that means that people can do video calls.
Sweet.
So we'd love to do some video calls. And I want to show Paulie how cool video calls are, because Paulie, you and I have been we're old school radio guys. We like taking calls. You know, you did a lot of bits in the morning and did a lot of morning shows, but you love taking phone calls and talking to the audience. I used to love it as well. And you're going to love video calls, because video calls are really cool. We got lots of people who watch the show and they, it's like, hey, tell me where you're from. And it's not, there'll be people that are big KNBR fans, but hey, man, I'm living in Spokane. Hey, I'm a big KNBR fan. I'm living in San Diego. Hey, I'm a big Niner fan. I'm living in LA. I'm living in Virginia, Texas, Florida. So if you guys could, if you're a regular on the Krug show and you've done video calls before, we'll put a couple video calls up if you want to say hi to Paulie and say hi to a guy that I'm sure many of you guys have been entertained by for years and years and years. Monty says, Paulie Mac. Oh, did Ted Knight die today? Did I see that?
No, did he?
We got R.I.P. Ted Knight.
Oh, man, I didn't know that. Oh, that's
I love Ted Knight from Caddyshack.
Yeah.
Caddyshack. He was, oh man, that's bad.
That's confirmed? I'm trying to check that right now too.
I would imagine that is.
Oh, sorry to hear that. Yeah, he was a really funny guy, man.
Yeah. He was really funny.
Oh, Judge Schmales, dude. Judge Schmales at Bushwood Country Club. Gambling is illegal at Bushwood, sir. Yeah.
And here comes Rodney Dangerfield dancing in the fairway with his golf bag that had speakers in it. I love Rodney Dangerfield.
Here. I think we're getting punked because I just checked. According to my official investigative department, because I have my own research team here out of the side of the camera, they have confirmed that Ted Knight passed away in 1986. So I don't know what's accurate. I don't know if we're being duped or I'm being duped.
Maybe I'd say I've been duped before. Yeah. Look at this one. Here. Do you think this guy's heard you before? Rocco S. He says, "Love you, Paulie. I need a fresh pot."
Oh, bro. Oh, I'm taking the water right now, but when I bring the show back, coffee's all around for everybody. On me. Yeah.
And then we've got Anthony Catania, who's one of our sponsors as well. Nice. And we should tell you a little bit about Anthony Catania, because Anthony Catania is the owner of Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. They're at 205 Cypress Avenue in Pacific Grove, California. You can call Anthony Catania at 831-521-5264 for all your sports cards and collectible needs. And he throws in the super sticker, which is just another way to kind of donate to the show. People can donate if they want through a super chat or a sticker.
I got to give Anthony Catania some love because whether or not he knows this. So, Krug, you know me, I'm like a big Martin Scorsese fan. I love the Scorsese movies. Goodfellas, Raging Bull, Taxi Driver. I mean, I'll go all day. I love all of them. But the most recent gangster film that Scorsese made was called The Irishman. And it had De Niro, Pacino.
It's really long.
Yeah, dude, it's like 4 hours. Don't make any
yeah.
Cancel your calendar for that day. But in any case, the character Joe Pesci plays in that movie is from Catania. So anyway, shout out to Anthony Catania. You share the origin point of Joe Pesci's character in The Irishman. That's why I'm here, Krugs. I got that kind of information.
You have that kind of information, which is really, really nice. All right, this is what we're going to do right now as we're waiting for some people to line up in the call thing. And we're going to talk a lot of Niners here. So if you want to talk Niners, if you want to listen to some Niner talk, we'll get to it right here. But first, we are brought to you. This live stream is sponsored by Better, the official daily fantasy sponsor of the Krug Show. Use Better to make daily fantasy lineups and win real money. And as I said, during the Niner Raider preseason game, I did a 4-player prop for $10. I made $90 off of that. Download the app below. Make sure you use the promo code Niners, NINERS, to get the first deposit matched up to $200. All right. So Kev has given us our better lineup here. We're gonna make a wager here. We're gonna go. we're gonna do another kind of couple, like a prop bet on Niners Jets and week one. So let's go. Who do we want here? I'll for Niners Jets, I'll give you the props. You tell me what you like here.
Okay.
Brock Purdy. Okay. Let's see. Wait a second. Brock Purdy, we got multiple here. We can go more than 83, more or okay. Wait a second. Okay. So more or less than 240.5 passing yards for Purdy on Monday night.
I'm saying more.
More. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll throw more. We'll drop that. We'll drop that in there.
All right.
How about CMC? Let's go CMC. Let's see what CMC's options are here. I think it's a big time rushing game for the Niners.
Yeah.
I really do. I like CMC over. Well, let's see. They have rushing yards and receiving yards. How about this? Do you like him over 75.5 rushing yards, more or less? Or do you like more or less on the combined 115.5 for rushing and receiving?
Okay, I do. Yeah, the 75 rushing, it's a little tough. I mean, week one.
That might be a little high because it might be some Mason in this game.
Dude, and I saw what you were saying on the Krug Show. I was watching you on Twitter talking about JP Mason and how he could actually help keep CMC fresh as we get into December. I like that, and I totally agree. But in any case, week one is so weird, man. You really never know like what's going to happen on week one. So I'm not going to assume that Christian McCaffrey is going to romp all over the field rushing the football. But combined yardage over 115, I think that's gettable. That's doable.
I like that too. Let's go more than 115.5 total yards rushing receiving from scrimmage for CMAC or CMC.
I like that.
Okay, how about Breece Hall? Can we go to the Breece Hall? Go to the Jets side here.
Yeah.
Breece Hall. Let's hit Breece Hall. I like Breece Hall over 62.5 rushing yards.
I do too, especially, I mean, think about how much are they going to ask Aaron Rodgers to do, honestly, after missing
no preseason.
No preseason. Dude, I'm not so sure he's going to survive this. I mean, honestly, I
agree.
I don't want to see anybody get hurt. But on the other hand, listen, we all know how serious Achilles ruptures are. And at this age of his athletic career, I mean, anyway, all that considered, I think Breece Hall has a big night on the ground. He's probably going to be asked to carry between 15, maybe 20 times. And what's the yardage on him? What are they projecting?
It's 62.5 rushing yards. Do you want to go more or less? I think more. I think he's going to have 85 yards or more.
Yeah, probably more because he might have a big work night. Yeah.
Yeah. So we go more. And then I want to go one more there from Breece Hall. I like the there was the longest run.
Okay.
I think there's a very good chance this guy had, like, the Niners run D. If you say, like, I watched it in the preseason, and granted, it's the preseason, it's not all the same guys, but in the preseason, I got the feeling that they generally are going to do a good job against the run, but they're early in the year, there's still going to be that one run, that one play. So I think that 15.5 for the longest rush of the night for Breece Hall.
I like that.
I like more. I think he's got a 20-yard run in there. And I think the Niners might shut him down. They might hold him to 60 yards, but he's still going to have a 20-yard run in there.
Kruegs, what was it? And by the way, I do like him as a running back. I just like his style. I like his build. But what was his injury last year? Because I know he got hurt and missed a lot of time. Like, what happened to him?
Ooh, that's a good one. Maybe I'm not sure exactly what I'd have to look that up. Breece
Okay,
Hall's injury.
I'm just curious because I was going to ask. I wonder how he's recovered. But running backs are so tough. I mean, I would expect him to be at full strength.
Yeah, he's looked good this summer. He's definitely looked good this summer. Yeah. Anthony Catania, by the way, has just texted me. He said, just let Paulie know that his father is from Catania, Sicily. And he, by the way, he says the show is great. So there you go, Anthony Catania.
I knew I was going to connect on Catania. I could just feel it. I could feel
you can feel it.
Yeah.
All right. So we go one more. We'll go one more.
Okay.
Let's go Rodgers. Rodgers, 280.5 passing yards. Or no, actually, that was what it opened at, 280.5. It's now 235. I was going to say, I'm going under. It's now dropped to 235.5 passing yards.
You know,
what do you think?
I think I might go under, Kruegs. No disrespect to Rodgers, who I'm not a fan of, by the way, but I think I'm going under. And, you know, you hear all this stuff. We talked earlier tonight on your show about, you know, the kind of harmonious vibe that the Niners have, like this close-knit group that they have. They've fostered this nice environment in their locker room. Dude, I've heard the exact opposite about the Jets. I've heard there's a lot of bad blood. This guy doesn't like that guy. The coach doesn't like the quarterback, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know what to believe and what's real, but, like, I am not expecting the Jets in week one to light up the sky and burn the Niners secondary all night. So I'm definitely going under. And by the way, have you heard the same stuff, Kruegs, about the Jets? And
yeah, I was looking through my Twitter here because a couple weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, there was a whole article out about the Jets and their camp. And that was the talk. The talk was that, you know, that they really were like a borderline state of disarray. Like they were not a team that is going to hit the ground running, that there's been all kinds of discontent this summer and finger pointing and guys not getting along. I'll say this. I think it's a great time for the Niners to get the Jets because they have 3 new offensive linemen. Oh, here it is. Dov Kleiman, an NFL agent, says the Jets are in, quote, complete disarray and that Aaron Rodgers isn't a team player. And here's the quote. There is complete disarray over there. Look at how they handled Aaron Rodgers. Has one player had more power than him? He skipped minicamp. They've been unable to convert him into a team player. The vibe inside the building is terrible. This was from August 29th from The Athletic.
Yeah, that's the same kind of stuff I've heard, Kruegs. I've heard that it's just been a mess down there. And by the way, here's some more like Larry Krueger era, Paulie Mac era KNBR trivia. This is the most bizarre trivia question answer of all time, but it
was a knee injury, by the way. You asked, and the audience shall answer. Mark Graves' knee injury, Paulie, for Breece Hall last year.
Okay, thank you. I thought so, and I do like him. I liked what I saw from him last year.
Yeah, he's fast.
But Kruegs, how about this? How about for San Francisco, California, KNBR 680, the sports leader, 50,000-watt blowtorch? How many of the KNBR listeners know that we actually had back-to-back program directors? I swear to God, this is true. You couldn't make this shit up. Back-to-back program directors in Jeremiah Crow and Kevin Graham, who are both great guys. Ready for this, Kruegs? Both big Jets fans, dude. I'm talking Jets helmets in the office kind of shit.
In the office.
Yeah. I'd be sitting in there like we're getting yelled at about something. And I'm looking at a Jets helmet. I'm like, this is weird. I don't know, like if I'm in the right room. But how odd is that, Kruegs, that the guys running KNBR, and they're, like I said, they're both good guys. I hung out with Jeremiah a bunch. Kevin Graham's a really cool dude. But, dude, Jets fans infiltrating the leader. How'd that happen? So weird.
Jets fans. Yeah, no, I mean, it's people working maybe in other parts of the country who are tired of sweeping their driveway and riding public transportation and are like, hey, maybe I want to live in California.
Right.
Then they come out, they see how expensive it is, they realize they don't know anybody, and it's like, oh well, maybe I won't. Maybe I won't live in California. So anyway, I just wanted to read this one last time. The live stream sponsored by Better, the official daily fantasy sponsor of the Krueger Show. Once again, use Better to make daily fantasy lineups and win real money. Download the app below. Make sure you use the promo code Niners to get that first deposit matched up to $200. All right. I want to play something for you that I think was pretty interesting. This was Peter Schrager says that Kyle Shanahan has got like he's got the most riding on this season. And I don't necessarily agree. I mean, I understand that the Niners have gotten close and they haven't won, but the fact that they've got the most, listen to this. Tell me what you think of this from Schrags. I don't know if you've ever talked to him, but he's an interesting guy. He's on the NFL Network.
Maybe.
Here we go. Well, here's Peter Schrager. They're an iconic team. I know that the NFL Network loves talking about the 49ers, so they oftentimes will have topics about the 49ers. But if you're getting to the point where Kyle Shanahan is on some kind of hot seat, or he's got the most riding on the season, Paulie, I don't know, man. I don't know if I would agree with that. It seems like Mike McCarthy is at the end of his rope in Dallas. It seems like Sirianni, tears or no tears, has got some pressure there in Philly. Saleh, I think, is out in with the Jets if they don't win. The GM could be out there. I mean, Lamar Jackson's a 2-time MVP. He's 2-4 in the playoffs. Steelers haven't won a playoff game since 2016. Trevor Lawrence has got 72 turnovers in 50 games. To me, there are other people, other coaches, other owners, other players that have more riding on this season than Kyle. Do the Niners want to win the Super Bowl? Yeah. But if they don't win the Super Bowl, this talk that somehow the Niners ownership is going to pull the plug, I think that's absolutely crazy talk.
I'm so glad we're going to get into this, Krug. I really am. This is one of the things I really wanted to talk to you about tonight, and I really want to get your whole take on all of this, because to start this, I feel like asking you a question about your kids and my kids. We mentioned our kids earlier in the show, because when you and I grew up, we were very fortunate to grow up during the Joe Montana era, and then the Steve Young era, and even the Jeff Garcia years. They were playoff teams too. And then the black hole years with Erickson and all of that, like when it got really, really dark. But the point is, when we grew up, the Niners were expected to win Super Bowls, and that's what they did. They went 5-0 in their first 5. Now it's like a total kind of reversal of that, where my kids have never seen a 49er Super Bowl victory. Like my kids know the Niners as the team that goes to the playoffs or Super Bowl and loses. Like I'm not calling them the Buffalo Bills or anything, but they have that kind of identity with these younger kids. Like, do your kids, have you guys had that conversation about?
Totally.
Yeah,
and forget my kids, Paulie. Heck, there's a lot of my younger friends and guys from the radio stations. I've worked at 95.7. Now I'm back at KNBR. There's a lot of young guys at work who are big time sports fans. I'm looking at these guys and I'm thinking, dude, if you're 30,
I know
you've never seen you didn't even see Steve Young. No. Get the monkey off my back. I beat the 6 touchdowns, the incredible performance against the Chargers.
Yeah,
that's just like stuff for the history books.
Right.
So yeah, it's, and I want this. I badly want this for them. I want it for myself and everything that it does for my channel. And now that I'm back at KNBR for Niners Nightly, if the Niners win, people say, "Oh, you guys, you're a fan. You root for them." Damn right, I root for them. I root for them. I have a financial interest in their success.
No question.
So I am invested. I'm financially and emotionally invested. So I'm rooting for them to win. It's good for me if they win, but I'm rooting more for you guys. I'm rooting more for Kev and for your kids and for the people that are 25 and younger who are big time Niner fans and they want it so bad. I want it for them, man. I really do.
I do too. And I feel like, Larry and I, Kruegs and I we grew up, we're Candlestick kids. I was a season ticket holder, Krueger, at Niner games. I sat up in section 54 for many.
My parents were season ticket holders at Kezar back in the 60s.
Respect. But the reason I bring that stuff up is because I think this all factors in to this kind of dialogue, this narrative, if you will, going on around Shanahan and even around John Lynch to some degree. Because over the past few days, you've seen it, I've seen it, you've commented online, I read your comments about all this talk about Shanahan's on the hot seat, Lynch is on the hot seat, front office isn't happy, they've spent too much money. I actually get both sides of this because if you are 49er ownership, you're saying, hey, I've provided you guys with everything you've asked for. You wanted this payer played, that payer played. You wanted your own extensions. I gave you that. And at a certain point, they want to see a return.
Right. Win.
I feel like Krueger. I don't think I am as optimistic as you are. I do think first of all, let me preface this by saying I don't think Shanahan's going to lose his job no matter what happens this year. And I don't think John Lynch is going to lose his job for whatever happens this year, good or bad. But I do think there is something to the idea that Shanahan really needs to do it now. That's how I feel in my heart of hearts because they have been so close. I still believe, Larry, and this is not sour grapes, and I'm not such a lunatic that I can't see what's right in front of me. I actually think the 49ers were the most talented team in the NFL last year. I think man for man, both sides of the ball, they were the best team, and they probably should have won it last year. So part of me feels like if they don't do it this year, if they don't take that final step this year, I'm not so sure it's going to happen with this particular group because no group stays together forever, especially in football. And who knows what kind of injuries are going to happen this year. You never know who's going to be healthy come December. So there are so many variables to this that I just feel like right now they've pushed all their chips into the middle of the table and they're saying, I'm laying my cards down. I want the brass ring right now. And luckily for them, it is attainable. It's not a pipe dream. I mean, they have the talent. Now Brock Purdy I would call him a seasoned NFL quarterback. He's played in bigger games than, 85% of the starting quarterbacks in the NFL have. So they have the manpower to do it. They have the coaching staff to do it. I do feel like they have to do it this year if it's going to happen, as I said. But if they don't, I don't think Shanahan and Lynch lose their jobs. I don't feel that way.
Okay, how long do they get?
Great.
Jed comes up to you and says, hey, Paulie, I know you're a passionate Niner fan. How long do I give this regime?
See, the problem is this is what I always come back to, Kruegs, if somebody wants to have that discussion or –
Look at this chat, by the way.
Okay, yeah.
Who's Steve Young?
I don't know. Just some Hall of Fame guy. Yeah, I don't know. I think I saw him play a couple times, yeah.
I don't know. It's like my dad was a big fan of this guy. His name was Steve Young.
I'll put it to you this way. Here's who Steve Young is.
Come on.
When you watch Mahomes tuck it in and kind of scurry off to the sideline without a single guy touching him, Steve Young was the guy when the play broke down who would tuck it in and just run right at linebackers, dude. He would take linebackers on. That's who Steve Young is. That's who.
I'll tell you, Steve Young, not only is he a great guy and a good friend of mine, and a guy who's come on the Krueger show multiple times.
Nice.
Been very cool. Very cool. Love Steve.
Yeah.
But Steve Young, the greatest compliment that I could pay Steve Young, and I've told him to his face, I said, Steve, you played your entire career, not a play, not a down, not a playoff game, your entire fucking career you played with fourth down goal line energy and like intensity. That guy played the game for keeps. He's got all this perspective, but he had none on the field. None.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like you talk to him now, he's got great perspective. He can give you the 10,000 foot view on any topic there is. As a player, he was all in and he played with intense goal line, fourth quarter, third down, whatever you want to call it, Super Bowl urgency. I'm looking at the TV right now. Murph is on TV right now with his kid at the Giants game. The Mill Valley All-Stars. Giants are losing to the Diamondbacks 2-0 in the fifth. Murph is out there with his Giants sweatshirt and the Mill Valley All-Stars. And they just showed him on the tube.
I love it. I love it.
And I'm talking to Paulie as we're doing this. It's come full circle.
Back to Shanahan.
But that's who Steve Young was. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, totally. I just want to end the Shanahan.
Brief aside there on Steve Young, because that was too funny.
Welcome anytime. Dude, I'll talk Steve Young all night if you want to.
Yeah.
Steve Young's greatest hits from now till the cows come home. But I feel like if for the people that say like, oh, if Shanahan doesn't win right now, dude, they got to blow him out and get some new blood in here. Here's my question to those people. who are you going to bring in
Right.
that's got a better offensive mind than Shanahan? I don't see anybody. So, like, who are you going to get that's better?
I mean, I don't even care if you want to name somebody who works for somebody else right now. Like,
Right.
I'm not talking about who's fired and out there. I'm saying just name me a guy that you think is out there that you'd rather have than Kyle Shanahan. I mean, if you said to me right now, I can trade Shanahan and get any coach anywhere right now, I might trade him for Sean McVay.
What about
that's it? That's about it.
This guy's name he's totally dropped off the face of the earth, but I do expect he'll be back. And again, I don't want Shanahan to leave, but I'm just saying, what if I threw the name Bill Belichick out there? Would that interest you?
No.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick chose bad defensive coordinators to be his offensive coordinator the last couple of years.
Right.
Bill Belichick without Tom Brady is, I don't know. I'm not saying Bill Belichick's not a good coach. I think he's a great coach. He's a great defensive coach.
There you go. Boom.
He's not an offensive coach. He's a great defensive coach.
And that's why I think on those Parcells Giants teams of the 80s, when Parcells won his 2 Super Bowls, Belichick was his D coordinator on both those teams. And there are people, Krugs, that think that Belichick had more to do with those Giants' success, with their Super Bowl wins, than Parcells. I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying, like, to your point.
Mark Collins shut down Jerry Rice, and they always did an incredible job defensively. And Belichick, come on. I mean, 80, nobody was beating the 86 Giants. Okay. So I don't blame the Niners for that at all. That was their year.
It was.
84 was the Niner year. 85 was the Bear year. 86 was the Giant year. 87 was the Redskins year. And there was nothing getting in the way of any of it. Like all those teams were just, nobody's beating those teams. You know what I mean? But the 90 team that came when the Roger Craig fumble and beat the Niners in the NFC Championship game at the Stick, the Niners were better than that team.
Oh, dude, it was not even not even close. That's the most upsetting loss to me in Niner history, because the 49ers were about to three-peat. And how about this, Krugs? That year, that 1990 Giants.
Do you remember the Summerall? There will be no three-peat. Remember that? I was like,
I do. But how about this, Krugs? One of the greatest regular season games ever played, in my opinion, was, I think it was week 12 of the 1990 season, the Giants at Niners Monday night, the 7-3 game when the Niners won. So you take that game and then you fast forward to the NFC Championship.
Was that the Bavaro Ronnie Lott game where Ronnie was on Bavaro's back for like 12 yards?
No, that was before. So at the 90 game, Ronnie exacted a little revenge. He got a really big hit on the ball.
Okay.
But how about this, Krugs? Those 2 games, 1990 regular season, 1990 NFC Championship, 2 full games, 8 quarters of football. The Giants did not score a goddamn touchdown on the Niner defense. It was all field goals. So the 7-3 game Monday night, okay, that's a Niner win. NFC Championship, dude, 5 field goals. That's it. That's how they won that game. They kicked 5 field goals.
15-13.
Yeah.
15-13. By the way, I'm so glad you're here. If you guys tune into NFL Films or NFL Network for a lot of these retrospectives, you're going to see a lot of Paulie. You did a ton of those. You really did. And I'm glad that you're here. You brought up the most painful loss being the 90 NFC Championship game. For me, I got 2 that are worse, that I think are worse.
All right.
I'm more, if you say to me, most bitter moment as a Niner fan, okay, I would say I got 2 that come to mind.
All right.
1992 NFC Championship game.
Dude.
Dallas's first Super Bowl, and they went back-to-back. The Niners were great in 92. The Niners were the better team in 92. The Cowboys were the better team the next year.
Yeah.
But the Cowboys beat the Niners, and they had an incredible game plan. They came to Candlestick. They played ball control, a lot of Jay Novacek, and they beat the Niners. And the Niners may have taken the Cowboys a little lightly in the 92 NFC title game. That one bothers me more than 90.
Wow.
And then the other one that bothers me, and I was there, sitting right there next to Damon Bruce on the 15-yard line in New Orleans.
Oh.
Frank Gore. I mean, the Niners are first and goal from the 7 after that Frank Gore run. He never fucking touched the ball again.
No.
What the hell, Harbaugh?
No,
I thought you're supposed to be 3 yards in a cloud of fucking dust.
no,
You get to the first and goal on the fucking 5 and you hand the ball to Michael James and throw fades to Crabtree?
dude,
What the fuck?
I love the untamed Krueger, dude. I love you getting your Eddie Murphy on over there with the F-bomb.
I mean, what the fuck?
Well, dude, and you know what
Seriously,
else?
I mean, Jim Harbaugh, anybody tells you Jim Harbaugh is a great fucking offensive coach, show him the end of that Super Bowl and say, yeah, oh yeah? I don't think so.
Well, dude, not only that, and then
He called a fucking timeout after a 2-minute warning.
Yeah. No,
he gave the Ravens a fucking nap time. Fourth quarter nap time for their old fucking team.
And you know what's crazy is like if you go back and revisit that.
As you can tell, I'm over it.
No, dude, I'm right there with you, bro. I'm right there. But that whole drive that got them down to the goal line in the first place, a big chunk of that was Frank Gore breaking off big yard. Yeah, and then they get down there, they don't give him the ball. I'm right there with you. How about this, Krueger?
When I see Gore at the facility, it bothers me to this moment.
Yeah, me too. Oh, dude, it's upsetting even right now. But how about the next year? The next year, we go up to Seattle for another heartbreaker the day we lost Navarro Bowman. Dude, he ends the game by running the same fucking play again. That stupid fade to Crabtree in the corner of the end zone. And it didn't work against Sherman. It didn't work in the Super Bowl. Cruz,
if you have Brock Purdy, throw the fucking fade. You got Joe Montana, throw the fucking fade. You've got Colin Kaepernick. Run him. They should have gone quarterback run and then no huddled and gone quarterback run again and then decide what you're going to do on third down at that point. Quarterback run pass option with a lead blocker on the first down play where Kaepernick rolls right. If you go back and only reason this is fresh because I watched it like a month or two ago. Okay.
No, dude.
A month or two ago, I saw this. It was on. I'm like, okay, I'm ready. It's years later. I'm ready to watch it.
Yeah.
They get first and goal. They run LaMichael James. On second and goal, they roll Kaepernick out. Paulie, I swear to you, if Kaepernick tucks it in and says, I am not going to be denied, and just full bore runs, he was going to get all the way down to the 2-yard line or maybe the 1.
Yeah.
But instead, he drifts, and throws a rocket off of Crabtree's shoulder pads.
You know, the other thing I think about in that game, I just think about all these missed opportunities. I'm talking about the Seahawks NFC Championship game. You remember, I believe it was the opening possession. Seattle has the ball, and I want to say Aldon Smith breaks through, sacks Russell Wilson, strips him. Niners recover the ball, and I recall they ran 3 really shitty plays, Harbaugh specials that went nowhere, and they kicked a field goal. But they forced a turnover on the opening possession of the game. They had the ball inside. It might have been inside the 15 from how I remember it. Do you remember the sequence when Aldon Smith stripped Russell Wilson and we kick a field goal? Dude, NFC Championship game on the road, you got to come out of there with 7. Sorry, you got to get set. Anyway, I'm getting all upset again, Krugs. It's still
I know. Yeah. I know. It's unbelievable. Let's hit a couple supers here. Okay. We got this one from Mark Graves, who says, can't wait for Paulie's YouTube channel. Love the energy. Will you be reviewing concerts on your channel? Can you hit us with a couple bars of Lincecum?
Lincecum! And yes, I definitely will be reviewing shows on the new show. In fact, I'm going to see Jane's Addiction at the Masonic in a couple of weeks. I saw the Pretenders recently, saw the Stones at Levi's. That was awesome. By the way, Krug, I went down to Levi's on, I think it was like mid-July. The Stones are down there. Dude, Jagger, they might want to give him a spot in the Hall of Fame somewhere for his athleticism. This guy, he's like older than my mom, and he's running around the stage, Krug. Running around. It's insane.
I saw the Stones in Winnipeg when I was scouting in the Canadian League.
Nice.
I was at a rock concert in Winnipeg. I'm in the first row for the Voodoo Lounge tour.
Ooh, nice.
I'm the only person in Winnipeg, Manitoba, who stood at any point during the concert.
Whoa.
Everybody sat. I've never seen an audience sit the entire time at a rock concert.
Dude, the Canadian people are so
very, very calm. They're very, very I don't know. I don't know how to describe them.
They're very calm until they start any given hockey riot, which could break out at any time. By the way, for all of you hockey enthusiasts or wannabe hockey enthusiasts, look up the riot in Montreal that happened when they suspended Rocket Richard. He was like one of their all-time greats.
Yeah.
Like,
you kidding me?
Yeah, Rocket Richard. So he got I think he made contact with an official. He got kicked out of the postseason, he got suspended for the entire playoffs. And Montreal rioted. They actually had unbelievable riots when they suspended one of their players. So they are calm people, Krug, unless you mess with their hockey. That's where they draw the fucking line. Yeah.
By the way, I love if I could interview only one, an athlete from one sport, it would probably be hockey. Those guys are really, really down to earth. I mean, Townie introduced me to Jeff Friesen when Townie was at KNBR and Friesen was with the Sharks, and I think we might have even gone out a couple of times drinking with Friesen and Ricci and all those guys. Really, really good dudes. Good dudes. No, and if anybody fucks with you, I mean, these guys kick ass on skates. So you're set.
We had a conversation with Joe Pavelski once. We had him on the show.
Another great guy.
Oh, it's the total sweetheart. We were up at the Edgewood Classic, the golf tournament in Tahoe. So Pavelski was sitting at the table with us. We're having a great conversation. And this is right around the time when Popovich started getting a lot of heat for using load management techniques I think he started resting Tim Duncan, and people were getting pissed. And then other teams started doing that. So the term load management had just kind of entered the lexicon. So I said to Joe Pavelski, I'm like, hey, man, what do you think as a hockey player about these basketball dudes taking nights off for load management? Cruz, he looked at me like I was from Mars. He was like, in his little soft-spoken voice, he was like, well, geez, when I get to the rink, I want to skate. I don't know. I don't want to sit. I want to play. So like load management and nights off, that does not compute with hockey players at all.
No, not at all. Rakib Jamani says, love you, Paulie. So happy to hear that voice again. Miss you in the mornings.
Thank you very much. Now, we'll be talking again, man.
And Paulie, believe me, we're going to have Paulie on the regular. We're going to help him build his channel. And when he gets that channel up and running, we're going to do regular streams and we're going to drive our audience over there and help him build that thing up in a very quick amount of time. MF has dropped this one. MF's a regular on the show. He says, what's Paul? He says, Paulie, and it's a self autocorrect. What's Paulie's honest assessment on Farhan now that he's off KNBR? MF's a big Giants fan.
Unlike my feelings about Shanahan and how I think it'd be very wise for the 49ers to retain his official duties, I am ready to cut the cord with Farhan, brother. I've seen enough. Man.
I have too.
He listen. We heard so many great things. Oh, he's so smart. Oh, he's not
so smart.
We've never had a brain like this in the building before. He's going to outthink Is he really going to outthink? Because I don't see it. I
mean, if you're super, super, super smart, you understand the basic tenets of sales, which is you underdeliver, you underpromise, and you overdeliver. And if you do that, you're a great salesman. And if you don't do that, you're a fucking shitty salesman. And to me, the biggest problem with Farhan is not the farm system, not the moves, not the vibe. It's he doesn't understand sales. He can't sell the Giants to prospective agents. He can't sell the Giants to free agents. He can't sell his vision to the players. He can't sell his vision to the fans. It's right now they just make a series of nothing moves. Guys you trade for today are traded away tomorrow. Nobody has any belief. They don't know if they're rebuilding. They got rid of Jorge Soler to create a lineup room for Marco Luciano. They promote him. He doesn't hustle down the line one day. He's back in the minors. Now it's you go with Yaz and Slater all year, but Wade Meckler's ripping it in the minor leagues. He can't get a call up. Goodbye.
Yeah. No, it's time. How about Melvin Krug? You keep Bob Melvin?
Melvin is a proven manager. I mean, I got no problem with him, but I feel like his effectiveness as far as his ability to get a lot out of his teams, I think it's diminishing as he ages. It seems like he seems like a little low ebb. The guy that I would have hired and I was a big advocate for was the guy who went to the Guardians, Stephen Vogt.
Oh,
he was, he had a personality and he's humorous and he's funny and he's a catcher and Bob's a catcher, but I mean, I think he would have been instead of a retread guy who's had a bad year in San Diego and maybe lost his clubhouse there. I like the idea of, guy like a new face, a fresh look, somebody who maybe is doing it for the first time. It's a little bit more authentic. I don't know. I wanted vote. I'm okay with Melvin coming back. I don't think he's the issue. The issue is they don't have any hitting. They cannot hit. They're an awful offensive team. They score no runs. It's like watching World Cup soccer or something. And nobody ever scores. It reminds me of my buddy in college. Never scored. I mean, that's like the Giants right now.
Let me ask you a question, Kruegs. Being a lifelong Bay Area guy and knowing just the history of Bay Area sports as you do, are you surprised that I would say this year especially, the Giants have been able to maintain their attendance to the level that it is?
Shocked.
Because
I'm looking at these people now and I'm thinking, you guys, I mean, what are you doing? I don't get it.
When we grew up, like Kruegs, I went to my first Giants game at Candlestick in 1976. And that, I would say 76, 77, they had a good year in 78, so things changed. But 76 and 77, Kruegs, it was not unusual to go to Candlestick and there would maybe be 9,000 people there, 8,000 people, like on a Tuesday night against the Padres. So I don't know how to explain the fan support they're getting right now. Like I honestly don't know what to say about it. It speaks to the Giant fan base, how passionate they are, but I am really surprised that they continue to support this team to the degree that they do. What's your take on that?
I'm shocked. Totally shocked. But I think people were excited by Jung-Hoo and by Chapman and some of the money that they spent. And obviously a lot of these tickets that are sold now were probably bought in February. Yeah. So I think that's a big part of it. And I think there's, it's summertime, man. Everybody wants to get out to the yard and people have disposable income and it's still a great yard and it's still baseball and big time pro entertainment, but they don't hit. I mean, I'm watching this game right now. It's 3-0. They got no runs. And here's Yaz, who's 0 for 2. He's hit 220 the last couple of years. You don't have you're telling me you don't have an outfielder in your farm system that could have taken Yaz's spot? Right. What the hell do you need with Yaz? What's Yaz doing for anybody? I mean, no offense, he's a really nice guy. Great guy. What the hell? I mean, so what? I'm a nice guy too. They don't have me in the lineup. All right, we got a caller here. Okay, we got our video caller.
All right,
Niner Gang. What's up, Niner Gang? How are you? Say hi to Paulie Mac.
Paulie Mac, how's it going, buddy?
What's up, Niner Gang? Good to see you, bro.
Welcome.
Niner Gang's a regular, man. Niner Gang, where are you? Are you Bakersfield? Where are you? Tucson? Where are you?
559 Fresno.
Fresno.
Yeah. Sorry about the messed up camera. I don't know what the heck's going on, man.
No, you look good, man. You look good.
Yeah. And the camera makes you look like you've got just a crazy looking goatee on.
Oh, it's a little crazy right now. I'm just relaxing a little bit, seeing you guys out there. Wanted to welcome Paulie to YouTube, Glad to have you on, Larry's vouching for you. It's gotta stand for something,
Thank you, brother. Thank you, Niner Gang. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man, but man,
what's your thought, man? You want to talk a little Niners? Can you throw out a topic? We'll get into it here.
Oh, dude, I got a great one for him. I want a whole different perspective. I've been waiting for this. This is perfect. What is your outtake on how the first 4 games for the Niners are going to come out? How are they going to come out swinging? First 4 games. Everything else is kind of out there. What do we got?
By the way, Paulie, I can also play games with this. I can move guys around. We can play this. Yeah. We can do this all freaking night. I mean, if this makes you, we can all be in this. We can make me the star. This guy's the star. You're the star. I mean, we got all kinds of things we can play with.
Hey, Kruegs, go ahead. Depending on how much secondhand smoke I inhale at any given dead show, sometimes the screen starts doing that on its own. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We'll talk concerts next time. No, but go ahead. Give us your thoughts.
Niner Gang, you go first. Break it down.
Yeah, what do you think, Niner Gang?
I think game 1's going to be a little bit rough, just kind of a slow start. They're going to get the win. It's going to be a little slow start just because of the little bit of turbulence we had, we all know about. Minnesota, I think Minnesota's week 2, right?
No. Here, let's take a look at this. Yeah. I want to make sure we have the right schedule. If we're going to go through it, we might as well have the right schedule. Let me check it out real quick and tell you exactly who plays who. I know it's Niners. I thought it was Rams, but maybe not. Maybe let's check it out.
Rams are
here. Here is the schedule. It goes Jets, Vikings on the road, Rams on the road, and then Patriots at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vikings.
I'm thinking 3-1. I'm thinking 3-1 out of the chute. I like him to win in week 1, probably lose one of the next 2 on the road, probably in Minnesota, and then smoke the Patriots. So I'll say 3-1 out of the chute.
But is LA really a road game?
No, I mean,
Not really.
I'll tell you, the way the Niner fans travel, do the Niners play on the road? I mean, it's like their fans travel the entire nation. I mean, they pack Dallas, they go everywhere.
It's
Vegas.
Unbelievable. That game a couple of years ago was still a Garoppolo game, but I guess it was 2019, when they went down to New Orleans with the George Kittle play in the fourth quarter, running down the sideline, dragging dudes. I went down there for that game, Krug, to your point. I am not exaggerating when I say there might have been 25,000 Niner fans in the building. I'm not exaggerating.
It's awesome.
It's incredible. Niner
it's
game,
amazing.
Like you get off the plane and you see like Kittle jerseys in New Orleans, like in the airport. It's really wild, man.
Faithful travels the best, baby. We got it. Best fan base in the world.
I kind of really do believe that now. I mean, I know that, okay, we're jerking ourselves off saying they got the best fan base in the world, but you know what? What fan base that you can think of in American sports, forget, international soccer, just American sports, what fan base travels to see their team on the road like the 49er fans travel? Now, there's a lot of Niner fans everywhere because of Joe and Steve and Jerry and Ronnie, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So maybe they're not traveling. Maybe they just live in these places. I don't know.
Well, if you remember the day it really hit me.
Dallas, maybe travels.
It's funny you say that. I was just going to bring Dallas up. When the Niners went down to Dallas and played them in the playoffs a couple of years ago.
It was all Niners.
Oh, my God. It was like a home game. The whole stadium was all red. And I got to tell you, Niner gang, when Cruz and I were kids watching the Montana teams, it was not like that.
Not like that.
If the Niners had to go play the Redskins or the Giants or the Bears on the road, there were no Niner fans there, man. This is like a newer phenomenon, which I love.
That's awesome. It's really cool. I like 3-1 out of the chute. I think they're gonna. I think the first game, like Monday night, I like the Niners to win a low scoring game. I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I think the Jets, with Rodgers not playing at all in the preseason, and with him only playing 4 snaps all last year, and with them having Breece Hall and 3 new offensive linemen going against Bosa and Floyd, I think they're looking at this. You got to think about how other teams look at the Niners. I think the Jets with 3 new offensive linemen and a quarterback that's coming off of an injury who's 40, didn't even play last year, really. You're looking at Hargrave and Floyd and Bosa. They're going to run the ball. So get ready for a whole lot of Breece Hall. And to me, the key for the Niners on defense, Breece Hall is a big back, but he runs in the 4-3s. You got to take the right angle on him. I watched all 3 of their preseason games.
Yeah.
And I watched some of their stuff from, I've watched him going back to Iowa State. I've never seen a back that people take bad angles on as much as this guy, because he looks like a power back, but he runs sub 4.4. So I think the Jets are going to run it. I think the Niners are going to have a big run heavy scheme to try to take pressure off of Trent and Ayuk. And I like a low scoring game that goes under. Now the under has dropped dramatically, so I might tease it up and go under for you gamblers. It's playing with 6 or 7 points on the ledger, but that's how I'd wager on this thing. I like the under, but it's come down, so I would tease it up and go under. But I think a low scoring game where both teams run the ball. I think that's what we're going to see. I think it's something like 17, 13, something like that. Niners.
I mean, if you look at both teams, I mean, I wasn't really aware of it until this week till I really started feasting on the game, upcoming game here. And it's like, man, there's a lot of stars on both sides of this ball here.
Yeah.
And it should be a really, really good game. And based on everything you just laid out with Trent and Brandon, Ayuk coming back. I mean, not Ayuk, but A-Rod coming back with this torn thing. I think you're 100% right, Larry. I think it's going to be a slow ground and pound from both sides. And whatever defense is not winded at the end is going to be the winner of the game, and I think I'm hoping that's my Niners, never bet against them, but I think you're dead on, man. I think that's what it's going to be.
Yeah. It's gonna be a fun game to watch. Roger, one thing about Rodgers, he makes business decisions now. So like if the Niners get rush on him, he's going to get rid of that football.
He's going to have to.
He's not taking sacks.
No.
Even before he got hurt, he wasn't taking sacks. He doesn't want 100% business decisions. He's smart. Can't blame him.
He's smart. Yeah.
No quarterback wants to get hit by a freaking Fred Warner. That's for sure.
Oh my God. Seriously. Hey, Niner gang, we're right towards the end, so we'll let you go, but thanks for jumping in, bro. And good to see you. And if Paulie, when Paulie starts his channel, make sure you give him a good follow.
Oh, for sure. That's goes without saying. Gentlemen, have a great night. Thanks for having me, guys.
Cheers, bro.
There you go.
Thanks,
Niner gang in Fresno. So,
dude, I'm loving your
audience.
I'm loving your whole community that you've built up, man.
Dude, you're gonna love this, dude, because I mean, there's so many things that you can play with. The only thing I will say that YouTube is kind of rough with is it's not good for like music.
I've heard, you know.
So, but let's finish on this note, Paulie.
Okay.
We've been going for about an hour and 12 minutes, and we're going to wrap up here. But I can't have you on without at least asking you a question that I would probably ask you if we were like sitting at a game together.
Yeah.
Greatest concert you've ever been at?
Oh my God. Oh man.
And how many concerts have you seen in your life?
I mean, all in, dude. I'm not. I mean, let me think about this for a second. All in. I mean, we're talking hundreds, Krug. We're talking maybe close to 1,000, maybe close to 1,000 gigs.
Whoa, see, I've been to like 20. You know, I mean, seriously, hardly any by comparison. But I'll give you a couple of my favorites as you're coming up with yours.
Yeah.
When I was dating Amy, my wife, who you know, we went to the Warfield.
Nice.
And saw Dave Matthews and his who was the guy Vince something Dave Matthews, and I forget who the guy was that he played with. It wasn't Dave Matthews Band. It was Dave Matthews in an acoustical concert.
Oh yes, I remember those gigs. Yeah, we do like a 2-man acoustic show. I remember those. Yeah.
Oh yeah. And you know, just absolutely got lit up. And before I went, I think some guy in the bathroom passed me a J. I think I might have been high. I don't know. It was incredible.
Me, by the way. I think that was me.
It was an incredible concert. It was like 1995. Something like that, 1996 at the Warfield. Warfield is a super intimate setting.
Oh, it's the best.
Absolutely amazing. And it was just this incredible. I mean, Dave Matthews, I'm a big Dave Matthews fan. So I know Dave Matthews is a little too soft for your liking, but I like Dave Matthews. I also, in college, I went to Sac State. We bought tickets to see Jimmy Cliff at the Radisson Hotel on a day where it was 108 degrees.
Wow.
And the Radisson Hotel had the stage, seats, lawn, and then a swimming pool. And we watched the Jimmy Cliff concert as we hung out with, you know, a bunch of guys, bunch of girls hanging out in the swimming pool at the Radisson off 160 in Sacramento for Jimmy Cliff.
Wow.
Incredible show. Incredible.
Well, those are nice,
one. And the last one.
Yeah.
Our good friend, our mutual friend, Tony Salvador.
Oh yeah.
Sal, good friend. Love him. Tony, if you're out there, if you're watching this, I love you. I know Paulie loves you as well.
Oh, Tony,
hope you're enjoying returement, bro. Hope you're enjoying retirement.
Yeah.
So he told me he's like, Krug, it's opening day. And who's the guy who's real short, but he has the big old pompadour hair? And he
Brian Setzer?
No, Chris Isaac.
Oh, good. Yeah, sure.
Chris Isaac.
Yeah.
He's like, Chris Isaac is doing a thing at Pier 32 on opening day, Krug, and Lamont Janelli are nowhere to be found. I need somebody to intro, Chris Isaac.
Nice.
Right. And it was also some other local band that had some hit called Little Black Backpack.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of that?
I remember the song. Yeah.
So I get up there and it's all these little girls who are like, Chris Isaac. So I just do the intro of Chris Isaac, quick, in and out. And as I'm walking off the stage, this is Pier 32 on opening day. His manager is like, Krug. And I turn around and he's like, hey, for your trouble. And he hands me 2 tickets to Isaac's show that weekend at the Greek.
Ooh, nice.
And I had I'd been to the Greek for UB40. I'm a reggae fan. I'm a big reggae fan.
Yeah.
So I went to UB40 as a freshman in college with some people at the Greek. And I remember saying to myself, man, this is the awesomest concert venue. I got to come back to the Greek.
Yeah.
And I just never did until I saw Chris Isaac at the Greek. So those are my three that
All right.
I really loved. Now I've seen some other ones. I saw Van Halen and Sack, and I've seen Def Leppard and Dio and some heavy metal, but those three stand out to me.
All right.
I gotta hear yours though.
All right. Well, so again, as a veteran of, I'm not exaggerating. I would say probably around 1,000 different gigs. Because I mean, Grateful Dead alone, we're talking a couple of hundred. So
it is Tim Reynolds. It was Tim Reynolds with Dave Matthews. Right. Thank you.
Yes, Kruegs. Yes.
Awesome.
So,
awesome.
I could say this. I could say I saw several Grateful Dead shows that were as good as anything I've ever seen. I've seen a few different Bruce Springsteen shows that were as good as anything I've ever seen. And Tony Salvador factors into one of my Bruce gigs too, not unlike your story. So 2009, I'm sitting in our old Murph and Mac office in the on the Hawthorne at the Hawthorne building, and Murph and I had literally like a broom closet office, tiny little room.
Right.
It was a work night. I think it was a Monday or a Tuesday, and Bruce Springsteen had a gig that night at the Shark Tank in San Jose. And I had no idea this was going to happen. So after the show, I'm sitting in my office, the morning show, and Tony sticks his head in the office and he goes, "Hey, Paulie Mac," because he knows I'm a big Bruce guy. He goes, "Listen." He reaches in his pocket. He goes, "I got these 2 backstage passes from Steven Van Zandt for tonight. I can't use them. I'm going to give these to you." So he gave me these 2 passes for little Steven Van Zandt's private dressing room before the gig. And I went down to the show, and I had never met little Steven before, who also played Silvio on The Sopranos for you non-music fans.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And Tony was a big Sopranos fan.
Oh, totally. So I go down to the Shark Tank, and I've seen Bruce a million times, but I'd never met little Steven. So they bring me into this room. They open up this little curtain. I'm in this little waiting area. And I had a friend with me, and then all of a sudden the curtain opens up and little Steven comes out, and he's the nicest guy you can imagine. We wound up talking about pizza, New Jersey, all kinds of cool stuff. So that was a great night. And Krug, you mentioned the Greek Theater. How about this? I saw this. Okay. I saw the Jerry Garcia Band with Jimmy Cliff opening at the Greek Theater, and it was August of 1989. That was a great show. I saw Nirvana. I feel pretty lucky for seeing Kurt Cobain in Nirvana when he. Dude,
I'll tell you one more that I loved.
Yeah,
it was, and it's not my favorite venue because I really don't like Shoreline, but I went to Shoreline to see Van Morrison.
Oh yeah.
Play with his daughter. His daughter played with him, and she was fantastic.
Yeah,
and I think Blues Traveler might have opened for them in the Black Crowes.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a hell of a show, dude. It was a hell of a show. But yeah, no, we could talk concerts, dude, for hours.
You know what? Let's end the show like this, Crew, because this is totally organic and this just happened. I don't know if you remember this, dude, so I'm going to put your memory to the test right now. So for a short time, Larry Krueger and Paulie Mac did a show together on KNBR. The
Krueger and Mac.
Show. Yeah, Krueger and Mac show. Do you remember, Larry, this happened?
I do remember how many times they told us the percentages of sports, non-sports.
Well, on that note,
we want it to be 50-50. We want it to be 60-40. We want it to be 70-30. We want it to be 65-35.
That's it. So when it was still in the 50-50 point, dude, one of our guests was John Popper, the singer of Blues Traveler.
That's right.
We had him on the show, and he got us in trouble. I don't know if you remember, but he brought up some taboo subjects we did not expect, and we had a little talking to with Bob Agnew after the show. Is this the pre-tummy staple or after the tummy staple? Do you remember? I'm going to say this is pre-tummy tuck. The gut was still flying, and he took it upon himself. Larry and I did not prompt this question. Krug and I minded our own business. We got John Popper on the show, so it was cool. We go, "Hey man, what do you do to kill time on these long drives when you're on the tour bus?" Dude, he started talking about. Do you remember what he started talking about?
No.
He started talking about let's just say the adult entertainment industry in Japan, bro. In Japan.
Oh no.
He was like, he says, "My personal favorites are all the Japanese ones." I'm like, dude, you got to stop talking about this.
No.
We're about to both get fired. Yeah.
That my favorite segment of Krug and Mac was Neil Strauss, who wrote the book on the partying ways of Motley Crue.
Oh, that's right.
Remember that guy?
That's right.
Remember that guy? And then Vince walked in, and there was blow everywhere. And then Vince,
that's basically
an epic segment.
That's like every chapter in the book, what you just
Right,
described.
right.
Yeah.
The partying ways of Motley Crue.
Hey, man.
Oh,
Chris,
man.
I had so much fun with you tonight, man. Thanks
Dude,
for having me on.
seriously. I could, you're very easy to talk to, of course, and that's why Murph had the easiest job in radio for years and years. Turbo Duran says, enjoy your stream, Larry. Your team is going down. Aaron Rodgers is coming into town. So you know what that means, a big dub. I don't know about that, sir.
We'll see.
We'll see. Hey, yeah. Paulie, great stuff. Thanks. One more shout out to our sponsors. Of course, we're brought to you Sharp Corner Sports Cards and Collectibles. Check them out along the Monterey Peninsula. Pig and a Pickle, the best barbecue in all of Northern California. Check them out. They're in Emeryville. They're in Corte Madera. Go get the brisket. Go get the brisket chili. Go say hi to Damon and Mary and tell them that Krug sent you. And this live stream sponsored by Better, the official daily fantasy sponsor of the Krug Show. Use Better to make daily fantasy lineups and win real money. I just turned $10 into 90 on in the preseason week 3. Download the app below and make sure you use the promo code Niners to get the first deposit matched up to $200. Really a fun stream. We're an hour and 22 minutes in. We're going to call it right here. I told you, Paulie, these streams typically go like 35 minutes on the short end, 90 minutes kind of on the long end, because you're so good and there's so much enthusiasm from the chat. I want to get a video call in there to show you some of the bells and whistles on this thing. I also want to show you. Let me just show you a couple of other things that are really kind of cool that I have in my hopper here. You're gonna love the hopper. Before we get out of here, here is the hopper. Some of the things that I've produced. Okay, so this is an intro. Listen, watch this. I'm going to show you this.
All right.
This is kind of a logo that we're going to start using again a little bit. That's nice, huh?
Dude, that's killer. I love that.
Yeah. Okay, here you got to see this. Here's my buddy Dan, who went out to the bleachers to get trying to get momentum for the show. Watch this. This is hilarious.
Get fired up here. Let's go. Who wants to be up? I want to be on the Larry Krueger show. All right. Let's go, Giants. All right, we're out here in the bleachers with the Larry Krueger show. Larry Krueger. Yeah, we're gonna be on YouTube right now tonight. All right. Okay. When I say Larry, you say Krueger. Larry. Krueger. Larry. Krueger. Larry. Krueger. All right. Let's hear it one more time. Come on, all right. Larry! Krueger! Larry! Krueger! All right, hey, Larry! Let's go, Giants! Larry! Let's go, Giants!
Dude, I love that guy. That guy in the Giants shirt. That's my boy right there. Dude, throwing the flex and everything. That guy's great.
Okay, and awesome. one last one. This is 30 seconds, but we did a call-in show, and we had a guy from Vegas. You just wait for this. We had Kev put it all together. Here it is. Let's go to Johnny C.
Let me try, Larry. Okay, so Larry, here's the deal. Larry, honestly, Larry. No, but Larry, I gripe here though, Larry. Here, Larry. And now Larry. I mean, Larry, but here's the thing, Larry.
What do you think?
I think they're going to sign Jason Peters.
How old is he?
He's 40, but and Larry. I mean, Larry, I wish I could, Larry.
Johnny, we're going to have to jump.
Bro, I need more Johnny C. That guy's amazing. And by the way, did Kevin edit that?
Kevin edited that.
Dude,
so like one of the things, Paulie, you've been talking about is Paulie is funny, and Paulie has great sense of humor, and you would like to bring a humorous element to YouTube, and I just wanted to show you that with the right editing and the right kinds of things, you can. And here, one last one. One of our old sponsors. Here we go.
All right.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner. That means no matter how busy you were, no matter where the hell you were, you came to dinner on a Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday dinner.
Oh my God, bro! Cruz, I have uncles in New York like that guy. He reminds me of my family back
That's
home.
that's Pasquale.
Yeah,
That's the
no,
great Pasquale. All right, that's gonna do it. That's gonna do it for us. Hey, good stuff. Hey, thanks to everybody for supporting the show. Thanks for support the sponsors. We got a huge day on the channel tomorrow. Let me just tell you what we got cooking before we run to the door. Big day on the channel. The next 3 days are going to be absolutely monsters on the channel. So tomorrow is Thursday, and okay, so I'll be at the Niner camp in the afternoon. We'll talk to Kyle Shanahan. The locker room's open tomorrow from 12:45 to 1:30. We'll go in there. Dieter Kurtenbach is going to join us for a live stream tomorrow night. Also, Bob Wischusen, the Jets play-by-play voice, is going to be on. Rich Cimini, the ESPN Jets beat writer, is going to be on. And then you can catch me at 4:50 tomorrow on KNBR with Tolbert and Copes. And then on Friday, Damon Bruce, Chase Sr., Niner Practice, Nick Sorensen, Chris Forster, Brock Purdy. We'll talk to all of those guys. And then the great Jody Mack from CBS Sports Radio, WIP in Philly, WFAN in New York. Big Jets fan. He'll stop by on Friday night to talk a little Niners and Jets. So thanks for supporting Niners Nightly. It's 6 to 7 every day, or Monday through Friday on KNBR. And if the Giants games are on, check it out on KNBR's YouTube. And thanks for supporting the Krueger Show. Paulie, awesome job, man. Have a great night. And thanks to all you guys. Follow Paulie if you can. Once again, Paulie, read out your Twitter.
Yeah, hit me on Twitter anytime. It's at Paulie's Pod. I'm always around. I like to answer guys who reach out. So do it there. And then, Cruz, like you were saying, we are going to launch our own show. We're getting closer. And not to be too vague, but there's still a couple of legal things we got to take care of. And then we should be up and posting shows by the time the postseason starts in the NFL. So we're looking forward.
Well, hey, man, if you're up for it, I'd love to do a regular hit with you, talking Niners throughout the season and promoting the channel. We'd love to have you on. For Paulie Mac, I'm Larry. Have a great night, everybody.